Welcome to the BCFC Coaches Show for Week 8. As the teams approach the regular season finale, there still is plenty of playoff positioning to be determined. Saturday afternoon, the first place 7-0 Vancouver Island Raiders will host the 0-7 Chilliwack Huskers. The Raiders continue to roll, and the Huskers seem to be making strides late in the season. For the Raiders, they are working towards their goal of first place and home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And it doesn't seem to matter who their opponent is. As head coach Matt Blocker says, this team is clearly focused.
I really feel we do, and you know we set some goals, and maybe we set goals that aren't achievable. Who knows yet? But we've decided whether they are or they aren't. We're going to try, and we're going to be focused at it, and it's creating a lot of fun around practice and a lot of competition every single day, and I think it allows us to focus a little bit better week to week.
Your two Jordans on offense, Jens and Botel, have had great success this year. A lot of that has to do with your O-line. How does this O-line compare to some of the other O-lines you've had in the past?
Well, right now it's comparing pretty good. I mean, It's just always about the end result. So, it's really not about matching up and saying, was this guy better than that guy? I think it's just looking at the whole overall picture and what we're doing. And it's just a focus. I think in any position, once you get to a certain level where your focus every single play is pretty good, you have a chance to be successful. And I think our offensive line coach, Coach Cash there, has just done a wicked job, and every single year for 5 years, 6 years in a row, he's putting out O-line that are getting the job done. So, we're really proud of that, and we're proud of our group we had this year.
How is your group preparing for the Chilliwack Huskers and keeping focused? Obviously, the team, with all due respect to the Huskers, is a team that struggled this season.
Well, I think from our standpoint, we've had an opportunity to play them already, so I think like anything in round 2, you should be a little smarter than you were in round 1, and that's our goal, is to be a smarter team. So this time we want to play them a little smarter than what we did last time, and challenge them in areas that we found out they were stronger than what we gave them credit for, and so we're just going to be smarter, and that's the focus right now, and really be sharp to detail. So that kind of keeps us going, and that's sort of what our picture is every week, or trying to be every week anyways. So that's what we're going to do better, and hopefully play them a lot better than we did the first time we played them, because to be honest with you, physically and everything else, they took it to us in the first half pretty good, and I give a lot of credit to that team. I expect them to be very physical, on Saturday as well.
The Huskers made some strides last week, holding the high-flying Rams to just 20 points, and only 3 in the first half. It's something head coach Luke Atchison was pleased to see.
I was pleased. I was pleased at the effort the guys put out. Obviously, you want to come away with the win, but we played them much better than we did our first go-around. So I was pretty happy with the guys, and I told them I was proud of them.
Your quarterback, Aiden Hendrickson, had an outstanding game. He was the player of the game, no doubt. Was that the best game he has played?
He played well. We've seen him with performances like that in the past. He's pretty good when it comes down to a play breaking down and then him having to improvise. He played pretty good. I don't know if it's his best game ever, but we were happy with what he was able to do.
And how are you getting ready for the Raiders this week?
Game week prep as usual. Studying film, breaking down what they do, getting ready for it.
Anything special? Anything you can reveal that you might throw at the Raiders?
Yeah, we're gonna run. We're gonna fake the fake, and we're gonna fake in the fake. Run a double reverse pass for a touchdown. Don't tell anybody. No, there's not much that we can reveal. We're really just trying to get better at what we do.
A little later Saturday afternoon, the 3-4 West Shore Rebels travel to play the 4-3 Langley Rams, which could be the game of the week. The Rams have won 4 straight and sit in 3rd place, a spot head coach Jeff Alamahota is pleased with, especially with their play as of late.
I just think, guys are slowly coming together, and we're finally, understanding what kind of schemes that we're running, and getting cohesive as a team. Finally, it's going to take a little while when you get a new staff involved and new systems, and I think finally guys are just buying into that, and we're executing a little bit better.
It's interesting when you look at the schedule. This is the first time you're going to face the West Shore Rebels. Lots on the line, obviously, with you in 3rd, them in 4th. You can still track down 2nd place. With respect to the playoff positioning, is this the biggest game of the year so far?
So far, it looks like it is, shaping up to be that way. I know that we're preparing that way, and we're preparing in the film room and on the practice field for that way. And our guys know how important this game is. They know that it's a big game, not only in the standings and that, but we also have our eyes on the big picture, and that is going into the playoffs and seeing where we sit with that and where we stand with that, and how we need to get better every week. And so here's another big week for us, and we need to look at it as that, take it on as a big challenge to us. They do a lot of good things, both offensively and defensively, and so we definitely need to, take it on as a challenge to us and see exactly where we stand.
Well, what have you seen from them in the last couple of weeks specifically?
Well, they run their ball very well. They got a good young man over there that can run the ball, and defensively they're very aggressive. They like to bring some heat, and they're very aggressive. They wrap up very well, and so they're a tough team. They pose a lot of good challenges to us specifically.
The 3-4 Rebels have lost 2 straight and will need to turn things around this week. Perhaps the biggest question for head coach John Cardelicchia is who will be a quarterback.
Well, it's still a game day decision right now. I mean, Cat's looking better, but we'll just see how he's feeling tomorrow night in practice and again on Friday, and then decide from there if he's good to go.
Because of the weird way the schedule works, it's the first of 2 meetings in 3 weeks with the Langley Rams. What do you know about them?
Well, I know they're a good team. They're well coached. They got some, really good athletes. They got a good front seven, good DBs. I mean, defensively they're pretty sound, and offensively, I mean, they've got some good athletes over there, and then they got the X factor with Downey in the return game and also as a receiver. So we're going to have our hands full. There's no doubt, and we're just preparing as best we can to go out there and play the best football that we've played all year. We want to just kind of wash the last 7 games and look forward to 1 week at a time over the next 3 weeks here, and hope to make the playoffs and just win our last game.
Can you see some holes or some weaknesses in that defense where Greg Morris can run through?
Well, I think Greg Morris gets some blocks. He can run through any defense.
Right.
He's so fast that he's by you quickly. He doesn't. He doesn't waste any time getting around that corner or getting a lane and just going. And so arm tackles, aren't very effective against the kid because he's so fast. So if we can get him 2 or 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, he's going to make some big yards on his own, and any play, he's capable of busting it into a big one.
The lone Sunday game will see an interior battle between the 6-1 Okanagan Sun and 1-6 Kamloops Broncos. The Sun are coming off a 69-0 shutout in West Shore, as a number of players had personal best days. Head coach Jason Casey says it was the most complete game of the season.
I think so. Even in the 5 years that I've been here, offense, defense, special teams, everybody played phenomenal. I absolutely loved how big, mean, and nasty our O-line was. They've been practicing that way, and to see them now do it in a game was phenomenal. The receivers, the running backs, the defense played great. The defense's on-field communication was amazing. Everybody knew where they were supposed to be and when. The leaders stepped up when they needed to be. Yeah, I was just thoroughly impressed for 60 minutes.
This week you face the Kamloops Broncos, a team that's given up the most points in the BCFC with 309. Do you expect to see a lot more offense again from this team?
I hope so, and that's not a slight on the Kamloops Broncos. I just want to see our offense keep plugging. We're not going to let our foot off the gas pedal. It's not our job to stop ourselves, so we're going to go out there and still execute our game plan to the fullest, and if you can't stop us, sorry.
You got the Broncos this week, the Huskers next week, then you have the Raiders. Is it difficult when you play the 2 weaker teams in the league before you play one of the biggest games?
I don't think so. I really don't care who our opponent is. We've got our game plan for that current opponent, and we're going to execute it, and then come Sunday or Monday, we'll get ready for the next one. We know what our schedule is. We understand on paper how it's going to be, but I'm not going to let our players get so full of themselves that we're going to look past someone, because then that's when you get bit in the ass. And I'm not going to allow that to happen to this football team. None of the coaches are going to allow that. We know our game plan is for the Broncos this week, and until Sunday at 5 o'clock, we're not looking past the Broncos.
The Broncos have lost 5 straight and are struggling to find some consistency in their game. Last week, they would use 4 different quarterbacks as head coach Duncan Othius is trying to find some rhythm.
Well, we are looking for consistency. Jesse did get hurt in the first the first quarter there pretty early. He had a little issue with his shoulder, but he's good to go now. And so we threw other guys back in there. And at the end, we put in Steve Sherweller, and that was just to get him playing time as well again. So once we put Drew in, and then we couldn't really get anything going, and then we just tried to keep on going to see if we could, if one of them could spark the O, and that never happened eventually.
What are those ways that you're trying to attack that, the lack of consistency?
It's just that in the practice, we got to come up with some new ways to do it, keep these kids fresh, and see if something exciting, whether on O or D, trying to throw something at them that they can have some excitement with it and take it from there.
You face the Okanagan Sun this weekend. You faced them back in week 1. Can you take anything away from that meeting? It was so early in the season, obviously the first game, and then implement it here in week 8.
I think we can a bit. I know we just watched both our films in the first weekend. We watched their film against Victoria or West Shore, and it seems they've changed their O. I know Jay is a very good O coordinator, so that's going to be. They're a very balanced team, and it's going to be tough. They're basically like Nanaimo, but they're very balanced, and they have weapons with Jeremy there. It's going to be tough. We got to keep him in the pocket and don't let him outside that pocket, or he can be very dangerous.
That's on defense, of course. Offensively, what do you want to establish early?
We want to get the run game going, because if once we get that going, I think if we can start running the ball, they'll play the backers off, and then we can hopefully hit them with a little bit of play action.
Week 8 of the BCFC will kick off Saturday afternoon in Nanaimo, and will wrap up Sunday afternoon in Kelowna. Follow the BCFC on Facebook. Enjoy week number 8. Until next time, I'm Ryan Waters.